Good day to all true believers and welcome to my art studio. My name is Khan and today I'm gonna make this very dope looking hand of Spider-Man. This design is highly inspired by the Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man and I'm gonna make this whole hand with the polymer clay. So without any further ado, let's draw that. Alright, let's start with collecting some reference images. And my main goal is to follow this Raimi version of the hand model. I also draw the web pattern so it will help me when it comes for the webbing part. And this hand model is exactly the size of my own hand. So the tricky part is to create the armature for my hand. So I am using this 9-gauge aluminum craft wire. This wire is kinda hard and easy to manipulate. I also use thin wire for extra support. I cover the whole armature with the aluminum foil paper for additional support. And this is my very first time of doing this type of modeling. So it was kinda challenging to build the right armature for this kind of model. Then I cover the whole hand with the Sculpey polymer clay. I just applied a very thin layer of the clay to cover the whole hand nice and tight. The clay I'm using here is super cheap. I only use it for a base modeling. So after that I bake the whole hand. So in that way I can understand my hand in a more easy way. Then I can apply my main layer of clay, which is super simple. Just roll your clay into the thin sheet and simply apply it on top of the main model. But before that, I decided to give my hand a little action to it. So what I'm doing here is just reshaping my fingers. Even though I should do that step before I bake my hand, but I was completely in rush and totally forget about it. So after the reshaping, I fixed each joint with the super glue so I can have a strong bond. So finally I start putting my clay on the model, but first I start with the joints. I also put some more extra clay where all the muscles should be and I can add more definition on it. Now the clay I'm using here is the best one, but a little costly, so that's why I only use this clay in the last. I am also taking my own hand as a reference, as a guide, so I can create the right amount of hand muscle. Once I'm done with that, I roll out a thin sheet of clay and cover the whole hand. Before I bake the model, I just refine my model again. And where I feel that I applied too much clay, so I can easily shave it off. And I can do a fine detailing and pops out all the muscles definition that I missed out in my previous step. So here I bake the model and now it's time to move on my favorite part, which is sanding. Even though I made my model smooth enough and there is no sanding required, but still I am giving another coat of the smoothness. And as you guys know that I love sanding on polymers. I don't know why, but I found myself more satisfied with that because it really gives you a very smooth result. Then I give my hand a paint job. I applied 3 coats of regular red acrylic paint. Here I could use a sponge brush for a nice and even coat, but I found out that the airbrush does a very phenomenal job. After that, I draw my webbing pattern on the hand so I can navigate myself more easily, and those webbing lining comes very handy when I will do my webbing. As you can see, I just did some simple lining work, nothing fancy. And my next step is to apply this nylon mesh that comes in various variety and patterns. So I am gonna apply this mesh all over the hand with the super glue. And I am only applying super glue where all the web lining exists, so I can hide all the glue marks later with the webs. This whole process was so tricky for me cause I never done such kind of work before. So I divided this mesh into big chunks so I can easily apply all over the hand. As you can see all the seams here, but I will hide all the seams with the webbing. That is the only reason I created those web linings in first place. Now for the web lines, first I have this oven based tray and this very awesome tool called Clay Extruder. So I make multiple stripes and bake them first, and I roughly smooth them out. So here as you can see how that all turned out. So I start with the fingers, and again I trace the web lining which I created earlier and fix it with the super glue. And I also sand the two end joints so I can have a seamless effect. I finished all the fingers and it turned out pretty good. So I move on with more webbing and taking my time cause I don't want to rush with this process. It took me whole 2 days just to put those web linings together, and my main goal was to create a perfect web lining pattern. So I work in steps, taking my time to figure everything out, keep looking my reference images and all. So after the fingers, I move on with the top and the back webbing. I also seal the end web so I can have the end border and I can arrange my webs more accurately. So I have those long lining web which I connected two into one and make long stripes. I work super slowly in this step. I already made a lot of mistakes and redo a lot of web linings, which I cannot show you here. Neither I can explain it. That is my 2 days of frustration that you are going to see in 2-minute clip. Once I finish the main web lining, here I am just doing some extra work. Even though again took me so long to finish all the corners and smooth them out, but it totally worth the effort. And here you can clearly see the difference. A little effort could make small things into something big. After I done smoothing all the corners, I use heat gun to bake them all. These are the makeup palettes for eye shades, and as you know that I use them a lot cause I am very comfortable using them. So what it does, it will give your model a 3D pop-up look and you can create very awesome shadows and highlights with it. And in the final, I apply silver paint on the web lines. The paint I'm using is from ARTEZA. These paints dry very fast but require 2 or 3 coats, so I was very patient with this step. Once I done with the web paint, I sealed the whole hand with the Mud Podge acrylic sealer, and my hand model is ready to shoot some webs. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more artwork. And also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Link in the description box below. I will see you soon, and until my next video, bye bye.